Hello, Sam.
Hey, Janan.
Hey, so finally, after weeks of planning and trying to schedule this, we finally get to do our first official welcome to our first official podcast episode. So let's set the stage. You and I really wanted to do this podcast, so we had a format for discussing construction innovation, changes in the industry, safety, and importantly, women in the industry, and really to also have a platform to bring in some outside voices to the conversation. We don't have a guest speaker today, but we definitely plan on having many guests in future episodes. Quick note, who am I? I am Janan Guillaume, the VP of Product here at ToolWatch. Sam, let our listeners know a little bit about you.
Thanks, Janan. Yeah, my name's Sam Miller. I'm an account executive for ToolWatch and Safety Reports. And yes, I'm equally as excited to be here with you today and excited for our podcast and our listeners and as well as future speakers that'll be participating. So, yeah.
We're looking forward to that. So thank you, Sam. So we do want to start our conversation today by reflecting on important issue that affects the construction industry and really society as a whole. We recently celebrated the Suicide Prevention Stand Down Week, and wanted to acknowledge the importance of mental health awareness in the construction industry. There's a death by suicide every 11 minutes, and 4.5% of workplace fatalities are suicides. And that suicide rate is actually 4 times higher for construction workers. So some pretty intense data points for us to think about.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I was very, very much surprised by those stats, and every 11 minutes it's crazy to me. And I know the construction industry is heavily affected by that. And I can see why. I mean, the construction industry as a whole, it's a very physically demanding job. It's one of the most dangerous jobs out there. And it's stressful. There's production schedules. And, this can lead to anxiety, depression, substance abuse, and ultimately suicide. And I'm really happy that we're having suicide prevention stand down, because it is a very sad statistic that I hope that we can attack.
Yeah, it's important for the industry to prioritize mental health awareness and offer support to workers who may be struggling. This can look like providing resources for individuals so that they can take their mental health seriously, including like normalizing those conversations on mental health within your organization. To be part of an organization, a company that has a culture where everybody feels safe and supported really is important to being able to have those conversations, to have resources that people feel comfortable accessing, and just really promoting overall a healthier work environment. So we'll continue to discuss this topic, bring in some guest speakers to help us understand what's changing in our industry. So this won't be the only time we talk about this, for sure.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to those guest speakers and conversations coming forward. So yeah, thank you so much, Janan. So there's also another topic that we wanted to talk about too. It is the topic that inspired our podcast, which is women in construction. I'm on the board of National Association of Women in Construction Greater Phoenix chapter. I'll be serving on the board for this coming year. So I'm very excited to kind of dig in and see and talk about the issues that are affecting women in the industry. There's actually a few stats that they came out with that historically women, of course, have been underrepresented in the industry. About 4% of women are in actual trades, and 11% are in project management roles. However, just in the recent years, the industry has done a lot to attract women to get into the industry, and it's really exciting stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I think women should really consider a career for many reasons. For one, there's a lower pay gap in the industry. According to the National Association of Women in Construction, your organization, women earn 99.1% of what men earn in the industry. So you you don't hear that in many industries at all. I mean, we're in technology and you never hear that in technology. So it's really incredible. And just read an article about a sales associate intern at McKinstry out here in the Pacific Northwest. She graduated from the University of Washington and is working on their platform construction sales team. And that experience is helping her shape her career in construction. So it's also, there's so many different types of ways to build a career in construction. So really, we've got to get to know what are those opportunities and what an exciting industry it is.
Yeah, we should have her as a speaker for sure. Somebody on our podcast. That'd be a really interesting perspective.
Yeah, great idea, Sam. Yeah, we should definitely reach out to her.
Yeah, yeah. On another note too, I wanted to also, talk about women who have paved the way for us in the industry. A couple women that came to mind was Linda Alvarado. She's an entrepreneur who started her career in the 70s. And she's really paved the way for women today, breaking barriers and shattering those gender misconceptions. Also wanted to call out Vicki O'Leary, the Iron Workers International director. She's been a pioneer of trying to get women in the trades. And she started her career in the 1980s. And she's been very vocal and an advocate for women in the construction industry. She has a really harrowing story of how she's really pushed the barriers and gotten to where she is today. And I know she's helping women along the way. So
it is really important to remember how these contributions, early on from these super smart, super determined women still have that positive impact on the industry today. I can never forget that because it's continues to make such a difference.
So true. Yeah. Yeah, well, why don't we wrap? And I'd love to get to know you a little bit better, and hopefully our listeners can get to know you a little bit better as well. What actually brought you into the industry?
Well, I mean, I think we're all here at ToolWatch because to one degree or another, we absolutely love this industry. Before ToolWatch, I had experience in construction product management as well. I was at the time at an organization that worked in the construction industry and in in government and insurance, and just really came to love the construction industry that really rose above all the other industries that I've worked in as a really kind of innovative space with lots of really interesting challenges and problems. So really, so much everywhere you look, there's just so much innovation, so many people with great ideas on how to support building better, really, and all around the world. So can't go wrong in the construction industry.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more. Definitely sharing that perspective. You brought up how it's, building better. And I think a lot of that has to do with emerging technologies. And I was wondering what your thoughts are on why the industry might be a little bit slower to adopt new technologies.
Yeah. Well, I think at the heart of it is a little bit of a resistance to change. When you've been doing something for so long and it's been working, why change? Especially when you're working in an industry that is faced with lots of uncertainty, right? There's climate, there's the economy, there's staffing problems. But I do also think that is changing even as we speak, right? So more and more companies are finding themselves open to that adoption and investment in technology to stay competitive, to have safer job sites. So if you think about innovation in PPE and wearables and all of the tracking technologies around where people are, what the weather is going to be like, really, how do we build more efficiently, build bigger businesses in general, right? So I think all of this leads to easier adoption of technology and change. And you're seeing that more and more. And then, of course, we're becoming more diverse as a workforce in construction, more women, right? So are entering these workforces, bringing new perspectives. And that really also definitely helps to drive innovation forward.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And thank you so much for sharing that insight. And I'm super excited that we're doing this. That's about the time that we have today. And really excited for our next episode. And thank you all for listening. And thanks again, Janan, for joining us.
Thank you, Sam. This is great. I can't wait for our next episode.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.